Here we are heading all the way to the Doultons claypits at the moment, just into mousesweet. I must say this is a really nice nature reserve itself. It's a nice bit of a black country walk. This is heading all the way there down to the claypits themselves. I can imagine there's quite a lot of history down here. We've got mushroom green, which is right around the back. Let's go and take a look at that and I'll tell you a bit of history behind it. So here we are. I must say this is really beautiful. I mean, mousesweet's one place what I've never really fully explored, but I've passed through it to come all the way home from the Saltwells Nature Reserve before. But you can just see the brook that runs all the way down and comes beneath me and flows all the way back down there for where I come from. But you can imagine all the wildlife what comes all the way in. It's a nice bit before we head there, so I thought I might check this out. Wow, what a beautiful place. This is one reason why I love coming down to the mousesweet to go all the way to the Saltwells Nature Reserve, because you can just see all the trees surrounding, and I've heard quite a lot of wildlife coming all the way down. You never know what you see on your journeys, and it is one perfect place to start the walk. I will definitely have to come back and do a full explore of mousesweet itself. But let's go and journey all the way now to Mushroom Green and go and check that out. So right, we've come down to a footpath that goes right away over that brook what I showed you earlier. But you can just see the landscape, how it really changes into wooded areas from open fields. I really do love coming to check this out. And coming down to here is also part of the Saltwells Nature Reserve itself. So if you've never explored it fully, then definitely come down to the mousesweet. So there we go, you can sort of now get a better view. It's absolutely clear when I look down. There's not too much pollution in there, as I can just see, like rubbish. Well, not the River Stour by me, quite a lot of rubbish does end up into there. So I'm guessing there might be some insects that are thriving in that water itself. So here we are, I've made it mushroom green, just right away in front of me. There's some really old houses. I mean, those ones just in front date really far back a bit. But you can imagine this part of the Black Country dates old because of all the chain making back in the old days. Lots of history behind it. So it does say here, mushroom green began with the settling of nail makers in the 18th century on common land which was part of the Pensnet Chase. It also says here, towards the end of the 18th century, many manufacturing processes were being merchandised nationally, and by 1830, merchandised nail making had begun in Birmingham. By 1810, a chain making workshop appears in the records of Mushroom Green, and their nailers adapted to making chain. By the end of the 19th century, most properties in the settlement had a chain shop close to them. Several chain shops survived into the 20th century, but only one remains in anything like its original form, having been restored by the local authority and the Black Country Society in the 1970s. So you can just see some information behind Mushroom Green itself. So it really does date back to the nail making, chain making. It's got a lot of industrial history to it. So chain making was really popular back in the old days. You can imagine how far the industry really does date back. And if you wasn't good at chain, you went into nail making. But not only men, women also had a participation into the chain making itself. They tried to find some work and they got out and done it.
We don't know any different, do we, from working?
Unless your husband's got a good job, you can't afford to stay at home.
If you want something, you've got to go out and get it, have you?
That's right. You know, if it's in a town waiting for it to come to, you got to work hard to get it, haven't you?
You can't walk out of here and say, oh, I want to get a job tomorrow somewhere else, because there's no jobs now. There's nothing there.
But I must say, it's really interesting to see a Black Country community which has really survived from the Industrial Revolution. Seeing all the old buildings, even journeying further down this way, there's even more to see. But you can just see, moving even further down, we've got these ones here. Some of them are actually new. Well, I mean, some of them are really old, like this one here, number 54. It's got scaffolding at the top. I think it's having a new roof fitted. And these ones at the back, that one really does date back a bit. But you can just see this one here, it says a date onto there of 1857. So this little cottage here really does date back a bit. But you can just see lots of old Black Country buildings. But let's go and journey now to the Saltwells Nature Reserve. So I think there is a turning down here to go all the way to Dalton's claypits. So here we are, we've made it to the Saltwells Nature Reserve, only a short walk down from the mousesweet and mushroom green itself. It's one of my favourite places in the Black Country for a short walk because there's lots to see over here. You've got your nature, you've got all your surroundings and even the history once more, because it really does date back to the Industrial Revolution, to when clay was dug out by doultons claypits, sent up an incline to the Dudley No. 2 Canal. But there is many paths you can take over here, so you can go on the right. It takes you into a beautiful part of the woodlands stretching right away to the back. We've even got paths right away in front, and where we're heading is straight to the doultons claypits themselves. So I think we've got to turn on the right, and there is a turning on the left somewhere. But I must say, if you've never been here before, then definitely come and check it out, because those doultons claypits are so amazing to see. How you've got a big massive hole in the ground which goes right away to the bottom. We've got some little pools down there, so we're going to explore the whole of it today. But there's so many paths, I've definitely got to come down and explore the rest of it, because there's so much to see, and I love my wildlife. It's one of my favourite things to cover, and if you can try and spot it at the same time, it's absolutely fantastic. So here we are, we've made it. One of my favourite parts of the Saltwells Local Nature Reserve has to be the doultons claypits. Surrounding all the way around is a massive hole in the ground, once dug by man for clay used for lavatory basins back in the old days, taken on a tub incline going all the way up to the Dudley No. 2 Canal, where Highbridge Road is. I think it was where the Bruins cut in. There was a little basin there, and they used to load all the stuff onto there to go across the canal line itself. So there is lots of history behind it. You can just see the old photos right away now, what this place really did look like back in the industrial days. You can just see the rail incline going across the floor, and we've also got another photo of the incline going right away to the top. So I will get to that in a little bit in the video. But let's go and show you all the way around the bottom of it and show you the doultons claypits themselves. Oh, we've made it on the other side of the doultons claypits, heading all the way down now. You can just see from where we come from, right at the top over there. Let's go and explore down here. There's some really interesting things that I want to show you. So here we are, we're at the first part of the doultons claypits, right away at the bottom. You can just see the valley going right away into the distance. So we've even got some very old rocks sticking out the wall there. But you can just imagine how far this rock really does date back. 425 million years ago this rock was actually formed, because all the land, what you can see all around you, was all different. It was rainforest, rivers running all the way down. You can imagine all the sand what ended up into the rivers itself, And over time this formed the landscape what you can see all the way around with all the rocks. But then man moved in many years ago, dug the land out to form the landscape you can see today going all the way to the bottom. And this actually reveals the past generations of rock which was here back in millions of years ago. This rock was even here. So you can get a sense of a geological past. But it's one place, the Black Country, if you want to find fossils like a wren's nest, this is the place to come. But you can just see, journeying further down, this rock just really does date back a bit, and I'm trying to find evidence of fossils in here, but you can just see it's like clay. The rock just chips all the way down. It's very soft. But I'm guessing you would need to be looking for hours to try and spot fossils within all this. But the best place to try and spot them is that wall right away at the back. Wow, how beautiful is that little stream coming right away down to the bottom. But journeying further down, you can get a gist of how high up that really was. But you can just see how tall that really is going right away to the top. And what I find fascinating about it, you can just see all the trees surrounding all the way down there. But pine trees, you've got one there, but there isn't many surrounding altogether. If I pan all the way around, I think there's only actually a couple. There's one there, but I don't think there's any more right away down the bottom. So it's quite strange to see all the different trees around here, but two odd ones out in the place. But I must say, this gives you an overview of how old this place really is. You can just see the rock right underneath. And this is a great place to try and spot fossils, if you can try and find any. I think there is actually a fossil right away there where there is a spider. And then looking even further more, you could probably find more fossils, but you've got to spend hours. Some have been chipped out. You can just see where people have been hammering away at the rock itself. And also more. I did spot one the other day. So it really does give you an evidence of a geological past. And that's what fascinates me about Doultons clay pits, because you could spend hours over here trying to find things, you know, giving us evidence of 425 million years ago. But one place that was very special but is now closed is the Seven Sisters Caverns in the Wren's Nest. You can imagine if you could travel down there, you'd find tons of fossils. The Dudley Caverns are a really great place to try and spot those itself. But it's a shame you can't really go into those caverns no more, but the safety of it. They started to collapse, leading to the closure of all the mines themselves. But the only way you can explore them is to go on the Dudley tunnel trip, which is really cool to see once more. So right, if I just carefully head all the way back down, I will just show you one more time the view going right away to the top. What a beautiful place though, I must say it really is. And then you've got some beautiful back walls where the rock's been chipped away from the industrial past. Got even more rocks onto the corner here. But you can just see the way they've actually been cut. So I'm actually guessing that it's actually been cut onto these corners, as you can just see. And then it comes into an oasis of trees where all the nature's now taken back on the industrial landscape. Back when this place was even used to extract clay from the mines itself, there was an incline that went right away to where I'm pointing over that way, I believe. So there was an old photo what I showed you earlier. Just behind there is the Dudley No. 2 Canal to where the Bruins cutting section is. Then you've got the reservoir right away at the back. I will go and show you in a minute of where the incline went through a tunnel. I believe the tunnel's been bricked up, but we'll go and check that out in a little while. But let's go and explore the rest of the bottom of the Doultons clay pits and see what we can see. But I'm going to have to say, this part of the Saltwells Nature Reserve at the bottom of the Doultons clay pits is really stunning. You can just see how tall the rock edge is right away up to there. But then the sounds of nature. So right, I've actually found part of the incline railway from the Doultons claypits where it went through a tunnel many years ago. So you can see this is actually the tunnel for the incline for the Doultons claypits going under the Highbridge road. So if I have a careful look, somebody on Facebook said it goes down into a dip, then it opens up into a big tunnel. So that is really cool to see that. So yeah, it's definitely been filled in, but there's evidence of the old incline itself. So right, the railway incline comes under the Highbridge road. So you can just see we've come right away from behind. That's the Saltwells Nature Reserve. Comes under this road. I think it carries straight away on. It leads out to this corner. So here we are on the Dudley number 2 canal now. This is actually where the railway incline from the Doultons clay pit comes to an end. Old Ordnance Survey map, so you can just see it. But back in the old days, there used to be a bridge that come right away to the top and an inway coming into a loading wharf. The loading wharf used to be on this corner, I believe. So by guessing of it, I think this is actually the edge where the loading wharf used to be for the Doultons clay pits. But when the Doultons clay pits actually closed, this bridge was no more, so they demolished the bridge to put way for a new towpath going all the way down to the bottom. But here we are on the section of the Dudley number 2 canal coming down to Highbridge Road Bridge, just right away here. It's got a date of 1858, which really does date back a bit. You can imagine how much this land has really changed. There used to be a tunnel what come all the way across, known as Bruin's Tunnel. This is actually the old tunnel wall what comes right away out, then ends on this corner here. So back in the old days, all this was demolished to go right away through. Like I mentioned, to build the Highbridge Road Bridge, just right away to the top. So we have got a sign there saying Bruin's Tunnel. The navigators hit a massive basalt rock, forcing them to cut out Bruin's Tunnel. It was opened out in 1858, saving the leggers a tiresome job. So it actually sounds like you're in a tunnel, so if we come right away under the bridge. Hello? Listen to this one more time. Hello? It sounds like you're in a tunnel. This is the reason why when sound travels, it's curling all the way around the ceiling, coming back down from the back of me, sounding like you're in a tunnel. So listen to this from this angle. It sounds really cool. Hello? It just sounds like you're in Netherton Tunnel or a different tunnel completely. But I just find that really cool. Hello? Wow, what a sound that is. So definitely go and check out that BBC programme, which really does date back a bit, A Black Country Walk with Chris Baines. You will see how much this canal has really changed. Like down the bottom you've got the open cast colliery, you've got round oak steelworks. It even comes across this section, which all the nature's completely taken back on. But there we go, what a walk. I've really enjoyed coming all the way through the Saltwells Nature Reserve itself. Definitely hit the subscribe button and see you soon on the Midlands Outdoors for another walking episode adventure.